is intercepted. Shaquille Griffin makes an incredible play. Coleman looks out of the gun, runs the option, keeps it. He is into the end zone for the Knights touchdown.
Welcome to Knightline Post-Game Live. When the clock expires, we go live. Knight Nation's only post-game call-in show goes live now.
Hello, Knight Nation. This is Andrew Phegley, and we are live from the Neutral Buoyancy Research Facility Space Systems Lab out in the University of Maryland.
In the parking lot.
In the parking lot. Welcome Travis Dever with me. He's joining me to start this deal today before Trace can get here. You are listening to Post Game Live. Again, live from the University of Maryland campus in College Park, Maryland. We are live. 38-10.
It was a nice game.
Whooping.
It was a whooping.
38-10 whooping. Normally 38-10, I don't know if that would be a whooping, but I think that this was a whooping.
It was more of a domination.
It was domination.
Defensive domination. The one touchdown they got, I mean, it was a tip pass. It was nothing.
Honestly, let's look at the rushing stats here real quick. Travis Dever, by the way, Knightline is brought to you by the Dever team. Your source for New Smyrna Beach, real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. What's your phone number, Travis?
386-690-1636. More importantly, we had a game today.
Yeah, more importantly. But Travis was hanging out with us here in Maryland. We are so happy to be here. We would not be here if it was not for Roger Nightbingle. We would not be here if it wasn't for My Lament Dreams, Eric Vaughn. We would not be here at all if it wasn't for those guys and everybody who donated some money to get us up here. So this is awesome. Thank you very much. It was awesome. This was my first road trip, believe it or not, for a UCF game.
Did you enjoy it?
It was awesome.
How much fun is this?
It's awesome.
I mean,
we had a blast.
I think we have to kind of reach out to the fan base. I mean, we were probably louder than the rest of the stadium.
Oh, absolutely. And I find that in a lot of games, though, that UCF plays, I find that we're louder, and especially that UCF Knights, that whole deal.
Completely. When they stuck us down in the corner, and the fans were just amazing.
Absolutely amazing. So, by the way, we're taking your calls, 407-401-9184. 407-401-9184. We're live on YouTube. Obviously, I hope so anyway. I hope we're live. Hope y'all heard all this. And so, yeah, we had fun here today. We may have drunk a couple of alcoholic beverages.
Just
may
two.
have. He's drinking one of mine right now. I can see it. It's all good, though, because I drank some of his.
The throat's a little sore after that kind of game.
I was screaming and yelling. Yeah. Absolutely.
It was
awesome. 407-401-9184. 407-401-9184. Trace will be with us later, but this has been such a cool thing because, number one, we've got all these we had a whole group of people from the Dungeon board on UCFsports.com. It was crazy. See, people are honking at us right there. I'll take that. So we had this whole tailgate thing set up. A lot of them have left, but that's okay. They're party poopers. But there are some people that are left, so it's all good, and we appreciate every single one of them. So, Travis, what do you think about the game? Travis, tell us your first thing. What was the biggest thing that made this a victory for the Knights?
How much we controlled the game. I mean, in every aspect, we had no turnovers. The defense was as strong as ever. And I think I know you're getting ready to go over some of the stats, and when you look at it, it was really a dominating performance.
Actually, that I look at this now, first downs, let's see, 18 and 18. 18 for each game. But here's the deal, though. Total yards, 428 for UCF, 197 for Maryland. That's a big deal right there, passing 178. Here's the deal right here. And this was the thing. It's good? Thank you. This was the deal that was the biggest thing in winning this game right here. I always say how I hate people that say but I just did it right there, and that's fine. 250 rushing yards to 42.
I'm going to give you one
UCF.
more. I'm going to give you one more.
250 rushing yards to 42.
How about this one? 5 sacks to our 0.
Well, there you go.
I mean,
So our defense, here's the deal. And this is what I thought. We got a call. Let's take this call real quick. Hey, you're on Knightline. You're on Knightline. This is Andrew. What's your name and where are you calling from?
It's Matty out down here in Fort Myers. What's going on, guys?
Hey, Matty. Thanks for calling, man. Appreciate it. What's going on? What do you think of that?
That's an awesome game. We got to take it with a grain of salt that Maryland was on their 14th-string running back, or quarterback. But defensively, man, like third, yeah.
That was their third string. Yeah, it was their third string quarterback.
Their third, yeah.
That guy that was in at the beginning, though, the guy that was in at the beginning was the guy that took us out of the game last year in Orlando.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Right in front of my face. Yeah, we were in that section right there. We saw the touchdown. That was pretty bad. But
are you here?
Good.
Are you in? Are you in Maryland?
No. I meant we watched it. Jennifer and I watched it happen right in front of our face last year. So we were.
Okay.
I remember walking back to the truck.
I was like, man, you were.
We need that game.
I was like, you were in Maryland and you didn't even come say hi and introduce yourself. I was upset.
You got to hook up with UCF Problems is up there.
I talked to him earlier. Yeah, he was at our tailgate.
Yeah, they were here at the tailgate.
Yeah, they were here.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a buddy of ours.
Totally good guy.
We had a good time, man. The defense, like Mike Hughes, man, what a saving grace, an addition so late to come into.
Absolutely.
Because he is anchoring down that corner.
Yeah, it's funny. We've got a good friend that plays for North Carolina. He's a linebacker, and I spoke with him and his parents when we found out about Mike Hughes, and they could not stop talking about how amazing this kid was and how lucky we were to get him. So.
Yeah, and the one thing we kept saying that we had an unofficial just because of the hurricane recovery. So we still had a good 15 people out there, and the one thing we noticed, our defensive linemen are just monsters. Like Pittman, they are just huge. I don't know if they gained 30 pounds, but they definitely look like they are Big Ten defensive linemen. And
absolutely, and that was the key to this game, was stopping their run game, because what they did was they ran on Texas, they ran on everybody else, and so that was the deal. We needed to stop that, and we did. Thank God. What a game, though.
Yeah,
what a game.
What a
held
game,
them to
man.
42 rushing yards.
The more.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I can't wait to see what the stats are and how many teams only ran for 42 yards, because I don't think there's going to be that many. No. 42 yards. We held them to 42 yards rushing. That's crazy.
And they had, I think it was 280 versus Texas, 280 something.
Yeah, 42.
Yeah, they lit Texas
somewhere up there.
So our rushing defense is insane. If we did that to them, that's all I have to say about that.
You could see the offense putter a little bit. You could definitely see McKenzie is improved from last year. There's no doubt about that. Is he where the program needs him to be? He's still a sophomore.
Didn't throw. Didn't throw any interceptions, which is good.
I think it was nice to see his patience back there. He
only 178 yards, 18 of 30.
Yeah, he didn't scramble a lot. I mean, he didn't get much pressure today, which was nice. But I mean, when he took off, and those were probably played calls. So,
I think from our seat. I think from our seat, I mean, the big thing that
By the way, welcome Night Bingle, Roger, right here.
How you guys doing?
He calls in for every game, so we thought we would just make him a part of it. He was a big part of why we're up here. So, welcome, Roger.
I'm just glad we could do it for you. But, I mean, it was pretty clear that Frost had kind of dialed it back once we got ahead. So, I mean, as far as the offensive line, in Big Ten numbers, there's a lot of 4-stars there. You're expecting them to push us around, and our D-line, they just did it. Once Kasim Hill went out, I think we keyed in on them. Our front seven did a great job keeping them keeping them in the backfield, and they were back there the whole time. So, Richie Grant, I mean, our starting front seven weren't even in there the entire time. We were watching them, and we were pretty close to the field, and we could see them just rolling those guys out. Pittman would get 2 or 3 reps just sitting on the bench, getting a breather, and that would allow them to pin their ears back on 3rd down. And they really became one-dimensional. Once that happened, it really was over with. And it was funny because we were talking about it in the stands, and they just took their foot off the gas pedal, and they were doing clock management, and they scored that one touchdown, and then we kind of went back to it just to show that we could, and then we backed back off the throttle again and just ran clock.
Absolutely. Matt, you're still there?
Yeah. The one thing I do want to say, man, every single kickoff you could hear UCF Knights.
Good, because we were
through
screaming.
the TV, you heard it.
My voice is even scratchier than it normally is, so you know that we were screaming. I have to say as well to you, thank you, because I know that you donated as well, and I really, really appreciate it.
Anytime, man. Hey, thanks for doing it, and hopefully we'll be talking next week after another win after Memphis. That's
Absolutely.
A good game. So,
thank you, man. Thank you for
We'll be
calling.
up there. I'll touch base.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. So awesome. This, honestly, I'm glad that y'all paid attention because I was just having fun. I was having so much fun. This was my first game away from the UCF campus as far as not a bowl game, and it was absolutely awesome. And I'm glad that you two, Roger and Travis, are here with me to start this whole deal.
It's
and
a good time.
I greatly appreciate it, both of you.
And let me give this shout out to Eric Vaughn. I mean, honestly, he did a lot of work to put this thing together.
Eric did a lot as well.
He's eating chicken right now, and his wife was nice enough to allow us to do it. So
absolutely, allow me to crash in their basement and all that stuff. She didn't know me. Eric didn't know me. Roger's the only one that really only met me one time. So I think you all know me though from the show. We got another call. Let's take it. I know who this is too. All right, you're on Knightline. Where are you calling from?
Mount Dora.
All right. What's your name?
This is Eddie Melville. I'm actually one of the co-hosts of the No Scrubs Allowed podcast, and we are big fans of you guys. You guys are some of the inspiration for us to start our own, and we're both UCF alum.
Awesome.
We
man.
are so pumped about that win.
Thank you so much for saying that. That means a lot more than you think that it does for being an inspiration for you to start your thing. It means a lot. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
So what did you think about the game today? What was your deal?
Well, man, I knew we had a good defense, but I had no idea that we were going to shut down the top rushing team in the nation like that. Just that stuck out to me, and the fact that we have so many different weapons on offense. Anderson stepped up. Obviously, Trylko did his thing. Jordan Akins finally had that breakout game we've all been waiting for. McKenzie, even though he struggled at times, was able to make big plays in the passing game and busted that huge run. Just Frost has his guys in there now, and you see it against an opponent like that. I'm jumping around right now. I can't believe it.
Honestly, I thought that this would be a shootout. I really did. I thought that this was going to be one of those things, and then the spread was like, what? You can tell us probably because you do this stuff. What was the spread today? Do you know?
I believe it was 3 points.
No, that was yeah.
Oh,
so it was like
sorry.
It was like 58 or something. So they thought that. Yeah.
Yeah, the line is 3 points. My bad.
Right, and they were favored by 3 points over us. I don't think that worked out very good. I don't think that's at all what happened. So somebody, if you were in Las Vegas and you betted on UCF, you made some money, which is good. Not a lot probably, but a little bit. 38-10. And the biggest thing, again, for me that I've looked at here as I'm looking at the stats, and honestly, before we got to the parking lot over here to look at this, I didn't know that I didn't know we held them to 42 yards. That is amazing. 42 yards rushing.
You know, let's talk.
Our
about
defense is for real.
Let's talk about one more thing. We've heard the skepticism about the secondary. We did not have one big play against us today.
Absolutely not.
They held their own,
No.
and they were solid.
So they had 155 yards passing, so we couldn't pass and they couldn't pass at all. Oh, Trace is here. All right. Somebody's got Trace's
that
headset.
interception by Gibson was ridiculous. That'll probably be on SportsCenter top 10, I imagine, later today.
No, it was a great play.
All right, guys.
All right,
well,
cool.
Thanks
you
for
calling,
having me
man.
on. Keep doing your thing. We cover all sports at No Scrubs Allowed. We do not intend to steal the thunder of the Knightline. We know you guys are.
Absolutely,
what you guys
man.
do for UCF sports is amazing.
That's all good. Thank you very much for calling, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so Trace is joining us. Trace, what the heck just happened?
How about them Knights?
Wow.
Wow, that was pretty
There's
good.
a little chair for you.
It is a little chair. I'm good. I'm good. I got a lot of energy.
You're good to
sitting up in
stand.
that
I know
press
you're
box.
good to stand. Roger, you want the chair?
Just
It's a
hauled
little
over
chair.
from the post game. Coach Frost and the players obviously very excited about the outcome of this game. Coach Frost said that they had to overcome this extended bye week and that there was a little rust, but he's really proud of his team for coming back after the Hurricane Irma.
What a defense.
Yeah, and some of the statistics, I don't know.
Remember what everybody was saying in the beginning of the year? Remember what people said? In fact, it was one of our players, I think. Our defense could be one of the top defensive lines in the nation. What just happened right there? Yeah, we got actually, let's take this one because this one's important. Kevin Reese, how you doing? You're on Knightline.
Hey, you guys.
We have been waiting for you to call the entire time.
Hey, it's an awesome game. I think after now we can maybe start evaluating the team a little bit after a couple games. And I'd have to say our offensive line has been probably the biggest surprise so far. They've been giving Milton time to pass.
Absolutely. One of the biggest deals out there was somebody that we've talked about a million times, and Tyler Hudanik was actually out there today, and that was a big deal. So.
Yeah, I see. That's what I was curious. Does he make that much of a difference for our team?
He does.
But last week I thought our offensive line did a nice. I mean, not last week. Excuse me, against FIU.
I think he does make that big of a difference. I think he does because I think he's the leader of that whole group, and I think that's what happened in that season. Last year. Yeah, it was a good season. We went to a bowl game, all that stuff. But I think that was a big deal when he went out. And we've said that you saw what the offensive line did after he went out. So I think it is a big deal. So they did a great job today.
like even, I love that we're our offense being creative. So often Killens gets the ball and he runs wide. But every once in a while, they'll sneak him right up the middle, and I don't think the defense was ready for him on his touchdown run. I mean, it's like he ran right past him, and like nobody had a clue that he was even coming straight up the middle. Did you see that?
Absolutely. And unfortunately, Juwan Hamilton went out like the first couple minutes of the game, first series. I don't think it's that bad. In fact, I was kind of doing some sign language with him on the sideline, and he says he's good. I think it's just his ankle, not a knee. So I think that's good. I've talked to a couple people, so I think that's good. Kevin, you've been on our show before. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell everybody that's listening about you a little bit and what your experience has been with this whole program. You've been with the program for a very, very long time.
Well,
I know you don't want to be the spotlight.
Initially got with the program in when we first started, we started in 79, and I think it was 81 when Lou Saban came on board. I was just watching the program, but when Lou Saban came on board as our head coach, I thought, wow, UCF really wants to make a commitment to this thing. And so I came out there and started talking with socially, just enjoy doing with a lot of this stuff with the coaches and Saban. I used to sit in Saban's office even and talk with him about, when O.J. Simpson was a running back up there. So I just got on. And then when Coach McDowell came in from Florida State, I talked to him a lot. And then he asked me actually to start doing a sports newspaper. So I did that for 8 years, but in the 80s and early 90s. But so I've just been enjoying our sports program for many years, and I went to a lot of different sports. Got fortunate to see Michelle Akers play soccer for us, our women's soccer team, one of the best female soccer players in the history of soccer. And but the biggest thing is, just like you guys, when you get to interview these people and the athletes and the coaches, you just get a lot of enjoyment out of that, and that's what I've experienced for so many years.
Awesome. Thank you so much for calling, Kevin.
But hey, can I just say one thing, though?
Absolutely.
It got this guy, you guys up in Maryland, our UCF fans in the stands, it got at the end of the game on TV, you could hear them so often, and the announcers were saying so much about the UCF fan support. You guys got an A++ today there from all us UCF fans watching on TV and that stuff. Way to go, you guys. That was awesome. Okay?
Yes, so they were commenting on how loud the fans were and stuff?
Yeah, they were
Awesome.
talking. Well, the UCF crowd, you can hear the UCF crowd. I mean, and they even got more so as the game came to the end.
I tell you what.
They would show more crowd shots at UCF. The fans cheering and talk. Yeah.
The UCF crowd was louder than the rest of the stadium.
Where we were especially. We were in Section
I tell you
5,
what,
and I know a lot of people were there. But
Yeah.
And
yeah,
Kevin,
and even believe me, and even Jerry O'Neill talked at the end. He talked to Coach Frost and talked about the crowd. He said, "Coach, wait, one more thing. How about that crowd?" And Coach Frost said the same. Man, he loves it.
Awesome.
Loves that support.
Awesome.
So you guys, outstanding job.
Yeah,
All right, have fun, you guys.
all right, thank you very much, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
To Kevin's point, Mackenzie Milton even mentioned how the crowd seemed louder than Maryland's when UCF started
Mackenzie
to take
did?
control of the game. Yes.
Awesome.
And what a difference a year makes for Mackenzie with all of the turnovers in his first start with Maryland. That was really a deciding factor, huh? No mistakes today, no fumbles, no sacks, no interceptions.
And patience.
Absolutely.
I mean, he just stood in the pocket.
Things were off a little bit. He
So
wasn't
again
connecting
here,
on all of those passes.
Again
Here's another
here,
call.
Yeah, again here real quick. Just if you're just tuning in, this is Andrew Phegley, Trace Trylko, and Travis Devers joining us.
Live from College Park,
from
Maryland.
College Park, Maryland.
In the parking lot.
Night Bingle is here in the parking lot. We are in the parking lot of the Neutral Buoyancy Research Facility.
Outside a helicopter
The
that was
Space Systems
factored
Lab,
prominently in the tailgating.
Department of Aerospace Engineering, Building 382. We've got a call here real quick. Let's take this. I think I know who this is, too. You're on Knightline. This is Andrew. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Andrew, it's Jeff, man.
I knew it was you. What's up, man? How are you doing?
Hey, dude, what a game, man.
What a game. What do you think? What was your thing that you took away from this entire deal?
I think the two callers ahead of me had already said it. Defense, man. Our defense was lights out. I mean, they couldn't do anything.
What about that? I mean, the rush defense. I mean, seriously, 42 yards. We held them to 42 yards rushing. And this was a team that rushed for a lot of yards. So, awesome.
Yeah, I was really impressed with our defense overall. I mean, our offense, you kind of knew that they were going to get it done. I mean, I know everybody was saying, oh, yeah, it was FIU. They scored, they hung 61 or whatever it was. It was FIU. But my rebuttal to them was if you had a team like Alabama play, a lower D1 team or whatever, they would do the same thing. They would hang 60 points, 65 points or whatever. So, yeah, we may have played a lower-tier team, but we did exactly what a high-quality team should have done against a lower-tier team. So I was pretty excited going into the game, but our defense was the biggest thing for me. I was just really impressed by them.
Absolutely. Jeff, I have to call you out a little bit because if people don't know this, but during the hurricane last week, I was in need of a generator. And my buddy Jeff here that's on the phone got me a generator very quickly. I put out a little thing on Facebook, and like 5 minutes later I had a generator, and I really appreciate it, which the weird part of it was your generator stopped working during the week, and then you borrowed my generator, and your power came back on, and you returned it. And I appreciate it so much, man. You're a very, very good friend, and I greatly appreciate it.
Hey, man, no problem. That's what friends are for. I appreciate you coming through and answering my text at midnight saying, hey, man, my generator crapped out.
Absolutely, man. It's all good. Thank you so much for calling. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, you too, bro.
Very cool.
Doing pretty good with some
Very
calls.
cool.
407, 401, 9184. I was busy during the game on Twitter, huh? Did you see that? I was
didn't
taking
see
photos.
it.
You
I
haven't
didn't
looked at
see it.
anything?
No. Man, dude, I
talking
was
to
having
people.
fun.
Well,
I
was having fun, too. Different fun.
Honestly, really, I didn't see much besides the game and just the interaction of the people. I was talking to all kinds of people. I ran up different parts of the stands. I was a cheerleader. It was awesome. I had so much fun today. I had more fun at this game probably than I've had at any other UCF game, believe it or not. Just because it was on the road, it was a beautiful environment. The day was just perfect. Roger and Eric made it awesome. Absolutely awesome.
What are we going to do if Knight Bengal doesn't call in? Oh, wait.
He's here. He's already.
Hey, there's another call.
He's
another
already
call.
Been on.
He's been on.
All right, let's take this one. You're on Knightline. Where are you calling from? What's your name?
Hey, it's Chris from Toronto.
Of course. You called me earlier on my regular phone. I was like, what are you doing? Wait to call on. So tell us what you're doing, by the way.
I am at the stadium trying to park, waiting to go see Terrence Plummer and Troy Davis play.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about that, because not everybody knows you're calling from Toronto. So
yeah, they play in the CFL. They play for the Toronto Argonauts. There's a bunch of Canadian players that play up in the CFL.
So you're our first international call today, for sure, so far.
Yeah, probably. How about those Knights, huh?
Absolutely. What did you think? Did you get to watch the game or listen to it or whatever?
Oh yeah, I told Terrence, look, I can't go to the game unless it's after the UCF game. So I saw the whole game.
Awesome.
But the defense was awesome. Took a little beat there when Mike Hughes went down because I don't think the secondary is the same without him, but the defense looked championship worthy.
Absolutely. So what do you think about 42 rushing yards? We ran for 250 yards. They ran for 42. What do you think about that?
I think Memphis should be very scared.
I think so, too.
I think Memphis should be very scared. This team ran over, of course, Townsend's nothing, but Texas, that's 4-star, 5-star talent they ran over, and they couldn't do it against us. So, very impressive, very impressive.
In fairness, that was two quarterbacks ago for Maryland.
That's
so
fine.
Third-string quarterback is not Riley Ferguson.
Well,
so I don't know that Memphis will necessarily be scared, but we're going to face our toughest challenge in Memphis.
I think they were scared in the first place, and I think maybe that's why they didn't play us on that Friday night. But we'll keep that.
They're going to think twice about running against us. I know that much. Which will help our overall game anyway.
Absolutely. So who is Toronto playing today?
Toronto plays Montreal today, so it's a big rivalry game. I guess for position playoff spot. Those two are the end, and I'm going to see the boys play. I'm decked out in UCF gear, waving the UCF Fiesta Bowl championship flag.
All right.
Representing.
Awesome.
That's good.
Awesome. I like the CFL. I've been following it this year. You're a Toronto guy, I guess?
Yeah, I moved back about 5 years ago.
Yeah, so you follow the Argonauts, though?
No, I don't follow CFL.
Oh,
I only follow our players.
Did you hear us talking about that a couple weeks ago? Trace and I mentioned that because I've been following the Blue Bombers quite a bit. I've lost track a little bit in the last few weeks, but I was following because one of my favorite players ever from UCF, Brandon Alexander, is playing there in the CFL for the Blue Bombers, starting. He field corner.
Yeah.
So I was following him, and I know Troy Davis and and Terrence Plummer on Toronto, and then what's his name?
McDuffie's up here.
McDuffie is back there.
And then Joe's up here.
Smoking Joe Burnett's up there. We got a lot of players in the CFL, and it's an exciting game. It is. It's a weird game. It's a little different. It's for U.S. people. You would have to kind of mix that with a little bit of arena football and a little bit of NFL football played on a soccer field, where there's more players on the field because it's such a big field, and then the Arena League, the receivers get to run before the ball is snapped. I guess that's the easiest way to explain it. But it's on a soccer.
Yeah,
it's on a soccer pitch.
It's a huge deal. Scott Frost and UC Fast would love this field, buddy. I tell you that much.
Right on, Chris. Thank you very much, man. We appreciate it. We always love your call.
All right, man. I'm going to hook up with Terrence and Troy and talk some UCF football.
All
Go
right.
Knights.
Go Argos. See ya.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank
Charge
you.
on.
All right, go
Go
Knights.
Argos.
Absolutely, Argonauts. Yeah, awesome. So, what else did people say in the post game? That was quick, by the way. You got over here.
They try to get out
Was
a
it
little
quick?
quicker on the road.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to make a flight and get back tonight.
Can you believe this? We are in Maryland doing this show. Not only did we do our first one from Burger U, but now we are in Baltimore, Maryland, or not Baltimore,
College
Park, at the Neutral Buoyancy Research Facility, Space Systems Lab, Department of Aerospace Engineering, Building 382.
I just sent out on Twitter a photo of you talking with Chris.
Did
Did
you have that sign?
No, I don't know
behind
that I
us?
got the sign.
Did you
I
see
got
the
setup.
helicopter that's right out here, and then there's a radar dome over here. This is awesome.
You know, the tailgate before the game was pretty special because there were people climbing on that helicopter.
Yeah, that's cool.
Another call.
Another call. All right. Well, your Trace is got his face towards the phone, so they hung up. Call back.
Key thing, Taj McGowan spoke to us. He with 2 touchdowns, most that he's ever had in a game, and he said, it was a little bit of a blow for him and for the others when Jawan went down. But Jawan's spirit and coming back and saying, you guys go out there and win that game really propelled him. And next man up, he said, and that's a position group where you have a little bit of depth. And it was nice to see Cordarian Richardson come in and get close to a score, So,
Right.
So if you're going to lose somebody for maybe a period of time,
Here
that's
we go.
a position group.
Here's a phone call. You're on Knightline. This is Andrew. Where are you calling from? What's your name?
Hi, I'm calling from Knoxville, Tennessee. Joshua Kenna.
All right, Joshua. What's up, man? What do you think of the game today?
Well, it seems like everybody's mentioning the defense, which of course that's what I had noticed right after that. But I'm also very impressed with Mackenzie Milton, what he was able to do with his feet, but still able to stay in the pocket. Obviously, got some passes got away from him, and I think there were a couple drops in there. But by and large, I think he did a really good job managing the offense.
Do you think that maybe there was a little bit of redemption for Mackenzie Milton after the last Maryland game?
I think especially maybe with fumbles and holding on to the ball. But he was after, I don't even know what his rushing totals were, but he was all over the place.
I think he had about 90
they had a hard time getting him.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I got to look at stuff like that. Trace, you may have some
I've
stats.
got that. I've got the final stats. Where is he? Mackenzie Milton was your leading rusher, 6 carries for 94 yards.
And
yeah.
Well, and
so,
and then 18 of 30 for 178,
right, okay.
and the touchdown passing.
So listen to this stat real quick here. Mackenzie Milton had more rushing yards than the entire Maryland offense had. In fact, Adrian Killens had just as many yards, I believe.
Well, we got after him. How many sacks did we end up having? Does that count against their total rushing performance
5
as well?
sacks, and that was all on that backup quarterback that came in.
Yeah, we had 5 sacks.
Travis Dever.
We had 0 against us. And I think that speaks a lot to the O-line. Having Tyler Danek back, and, it was huge.
You mentioned Tyler, and boy, that was a good thing to have him back.
Big. We've been wanting him back since his injury last year. So I'm sure he used those couple weeks off here recently to get
One
ready.
of the things that you, Trace, had been asking about, and I think that maybe somebody on the Ask Knightline or something asked about sacks. We finally got to the quarterback a little bit in this game, where we hadn't really in the past. Somebody was, I don't know if it was you or somebody else, was worried if we're not getting to the quarterback, does that mean we're not getting pressure, all that stuff. I remember
and that's a good thing that you bring up, because in the post-game locker room we had Jemias Pittman and Tony Gerard, and they talked about this third-string quarterback from Maryland having some happy feet, and once they saw him sort of dancing around back there, they knew he was nervous, and they were going after him. So they're ready. They're ready to go after Riley Ferguson.
Yeah, well, they were going after him. Even our outside linebackers, when they were trying to do some pitch sweeps, they were coming in there and crashing on it hard.
Awesome.
They were keying in on the run. I guess having a third-string quarterback, you can key on the run and just kind of you're gambling, hoping that he's not going to beat you with his arm at all.
What a game.
Of course, I don't think he did.
Just in general, what a game. I wasn't really expecting something like this. I was not expecting to this was domination. It was pure domination of football. So I was not expecting this at all. I was expecting a shootout. I was expecting to be 50-45 or something like that. I was not expecting this. But our defense is absolutely for real, and our offense, too. I mean, they did a great job. So.
And then I think we might have a player in the not top 10, though.
Yeah.
Was it a tight end who just kind of no one was around him, and he just fell?
That
one will make Sports Center, unfortunately.
They're razzing him.
Kubiali. He's a good guy. I know his mom and dad, and I know that they will not be happy about that. But in fact, I was looking for him. I wanted to see if they were here. I wasn't sure, but they're probably listening. So it's all good. He just needs to get his head in the game a little bit more. I don't know where his head was at that point.
I think it was his feet that was the problem.
I think it was his feet that was the problem. But he had some other good plays in that game, but it's always good when you come out with the type of win that we did. We're able to laugh about it.
Roger says that he was turned the wrong way, so I believe that. But he wasn't paying attention. So, all right, man. Thank you very much for your call. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, have a good one.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, 407-401-9184.
Unbelievable.
I talk plenty every week on Nightline, so I'm fine if everybody keeps calling in
this is
so with their questions. Again, the drive's
like,
very fast in this game. 2:43, 2:59. I mean, you get the feeling. I mean, very quick drives. You just wish at times, this is where I remember back to George O'Leary ball where you ground
and pound.
Yeah, and burn the clock. And, they come up there and they're like, this is going to be a 3-minute drive. They're going to put the defense back out there pretty quick. So, I expect a much different game, though, this week. Next week now is the real test, right?
I think we're going to learn a lot about this team when we see Memphis. I don't know if there's a better team on our schedule past Memphis. Navy's going to be a challenge.
Because of the way they play?
Yeah, just the way they play.
I thought that Maryland would give us a little bit more of a game.
Let's not forget, we're at their place.
Yeah.
It is, for what it is,
Big
Big Ten football team. They're supposed to have those big guys along the line, but their whole game changed when that quarterback went down, and that's credit to UCF for slamming them the way they did.
That's football. I mean, it's unfortunate that anybody gets hurt, but that's football, and that's what you have to. So they're on their third-string quarterback now.
In their third game.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Not good for them.
That's tough for them. And, of course, they've got a murderer's row of a schedule with, the likes of Michigan on there. And, that's where they've got to kind of pick up these wins. They started off with 3 wins last year, and then, they got bowl eligible, but they struggle in the Big Ten play. So it's going to be interesting. I do think we get a big test with Memphis, though. And this is the kind of game that will drive up that crowd next week. People are hungering for football, and now coming off a win like this, how many times do we win on the road against one of these power conferences? So
we have a big game coming up. The fans are going to be out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
I know we're here and we're excited, but does it seem like there may be some buzz this week
surrounding
this game?
Absolutely, because Maryland, honestly, with the games that they have won, they should have been really close, and they were getting a lot of votes in the top 25 or whatever. They were getting votes. Memphis was getting quite a few votes, so. If we beat Memphis next week,
I think that can get you into the top 25.
Absolutely.
I think we're going to pick up some votes.
I think we're going to get there
this week.
I definitely think that we're going to get there.
I think a win against Memphis, we'll be getting the top 25 votes.
Absolutely. Let's do a little commercial here real quick because we need to do it. Here we go.
Night Nation, now that the football season has started, you're going to need all the tailgating supplies and clothing for the rest of the season. And the best place to get all of your favorite night stuff is Fan Addicts. Please go to our website, UCFNightlinePodcast.com. Click the Fan Addicts logo to find the best selection and best prices for everything you need.
All right, we are back. Our phone number is 407-401-9184. 407-401-9184. We don't have Night Bingle to call us now because he's sitting right here, so...
We're about a half an hour away from Southern Illinois kicking off at Memphis. Bit of a tune-up game for Memphis.
What else has gone? Did you pay attention to anything else that was going on in the college football? I know
I got one.
I know there was a Florida school that had an interesting game today.
Yeah, Florida State lost. They're 0-2.
To who?
0-2 for the first time since 1989.
And who did they lose to?
North Carolina State.
North Carolina State.
Unbelievable.
0-2 first time since 1989. What I think is interesting about that is that UCF is really pushing being Orlando's hometown team, And if maybe some people jump off the Seminole bandwagon, and, obviously the Gators have struggled a bit, come pack the house
Got
and
another
watch Memphis.
phone call here from a long ways away. You're on Knightline. Where are you calling from? What's your name?
Hey, this is Stephen. Calling from Orlando, no longer in California.
Because your phone number does not specify that you're from Orlando. Where does your phone number specify that you're from?
Hawaii.
I was like, wait, this is coming from a long ways away.
Yeah, no, it's Hawaii phone number from when I was stationed in Hawaii.
Dang it, I thought it was a Milton calling maybe. I thought maybe this was. I thought this was Mackenzie
No, but
Milton
I can tell
dad
you
or
this.
something.
I can tell you firsthand, living in Hawaii. I was there during the Marcus Mariota craze, and he was constantly on the news. The local news channel would play him whenever he was playing football, so there was absolutely no doubt in my mind that Mackenzie Milton is all over the local newscasts during the Knightline news during Saturday evenings. Absolutely no doubt in my mind because of how much Marcus Mariota was on there.
That's cool, though. That's good.
So I'm confident UCF is getting exposure in Hawaii.
Do you think that there's any UCF fans in Hawaii?
A few more than there used to be.
I do. I mean, there was a lot of Oregon Duck fans. It's really weird that a lot of people in Hawaii don't go to actually Hawaii because Hawaii school is really not that good. Not even just for football, but it's just not that good overall. So a lot of people go up and down the coast of California, but there were a lot of Oregon Duck fans because of Mariota. So it would not surprise me if Mackenzie continues to grow the way he's grown from last year to this year, and if it just if it's exponential, there's going to be tons of UCF fans. It wouldn't surprise me at all,
Absolutely. What was your impression of the game? We never really got that because I've called you out on your phone number.
Yeah, no worries. So overall, I just took some notes, obviously just to echo what everyone else is saying.
Oh, hello.
Or bark it.
He just scared me.
Bark it if you want.
That scared me.
A big dog.
We play in Georgia?
Yeah. Stout. Hush.
And that's a good reminder we're live. Live post-game live.
You never know what happens when we're live.
Yep.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Just, somebody came home. So what I noticed was Stout D. We basically shut down the run, like you said. Maryland was a running team, and we pretty much shut them down. But as far as our running goes, we rushed for 6.4 yards per rush. I mean, that's huge. So as far as the running game goes, we were able to stop their run, but we were able to run on them. I don't believe that they had a very good run defense. If I remember, I watched the No Scrubs cast, and I think that he said that their run was they weren't very good against the run or whatever. I could be wrong. I remember that they had their overall stats on defense for a couple of things weren't really that good. One of the things that I noticed is that we were playing really fast, and then all of a sudden we slowed down. It was almost kind of like Georgia O'Leary-esque, where it's playing not to lose instead of keeping the foot on the gas. So it kind of frustrated me, but as soon as they scored, I mean, it was intentional because the second they scored, he turned around and put it right back on the gas, and we scored right away, and then he slowed it back down. So, I kind of liked that he was able to was frustrating, but I liked how he was able to control the pace of the game.
Do you think that maybe we're seeing a little bit more of what this offense is supposed to do and the way that it's supposed to work in a situation like this?
I do. I still think that we are probably going to be a lot faster as we move along because we still have a lot of freshmen on the field. So I think that next year, when a lot of these guys are going to be juniors and the freshmen from this year are going to be sophomores, I doubt we're going to have quite as many freshmen on the field. So we're probably going to be playing a lot quicker next year just because of the maturity of all the players and then also the conditioning. And I also think that we probably would have played faster today. But, 3 weeks, I'm military, I work out constantly. I work out every day. If I take a week off of working out to get back in there, to get back into the swing of things, to get back to the speed that I was or the tempo of whatever it was that I was doing prior to me taking a break because maybe I was on vacation or something, it's tough. It's tough to get back into it. And they had like 3 weeks off. So, there was a lot of rust out there, and not even just from, dropping balls or just like the penalties. I mean, 104, 106 yards of penalties. I mean, that's ridiculous. But
yeah, and that's one of the things Coach Frost talked about was a bit of sloppiness and rustiness in that phase of the game. I mean, you mentioned it. It was 11 penalties for 106 yards. Maryland had 7 for 53. That's 18 penalties. And they were coming off a bye week. So there was some sloppy play that you can see where they can correct week to week.
Yeah, I anticipated it. I mean, I didn't anticipate 106 yards and penalties, but I mean, I anticipated that there were going to be some drop balls and maybe some overthrown balls, et cetera, et cetera. You can't take 3 weeks off and expect to come back out there and all cylinders fire on. It's not going to happen. So I pretty much saw what I expected to see as far as things starting off slow, and I was really hoping that in the second half that we would really pick up the pace as far as like just getting into a groove, and we did everything that I expected to do. So I'm real happy with what I saw. I think that Maryland is going to be a tough game. I think that, like the previous caller said, I think that they're this game and their decision to run on us is definitely going to change a little bit. I mean, they have some kind of like an air raid offense or something like that where they like to throw the ball or whatever. So I think they're probably going to be doing a lot more throwing the ball than they're going to try to run on us just because they see how well we stop the run. So our secondary got exposed a few times, especially when that one guy came out. I forgot what his name is, but the second he came out, they immediately threw the guy that replaced him, and the guy got a penalty, immediately. So I don't know about – I don't remember what position that was, but maybe not have some depth there. So we're definitely going to have to work on, if our primary guys aren't there, to whoever the backup is that he's prepared, because clearly that guy wasn't ready.
To that point right there, Coach Frost talked about how important it is for the defensive line to put pressure on the quarterback and how it's going to be so important this week because he needs to give that secondary some time to grow up. And he liked the fact that they're being thrown to. But I think inside they know that they're not quite ready for that aerial assault from Riley Ferguson, so they're going to have to pressure him to give those guys a fighting chance.
You know what's interesting? Yeah. I've been sitting here while we were talking, and I'm looking over the stats, honestly, for the first time, really. I've been trying to look at the stats the entire time, but while you were talking, I looked at them a little bit more. And you see all the people, if you look at the defensive stats especially. I'm looking at defense here because this was much more of a defensive thing than an offensive thing, what happened today. And
absolutely,
if you look at the stats. So Pat Jinsky and Titus Davis, both had 5 total tackles, and they were the 2 at the top. But 5 being the number, the top number of tackles. You look at all the people that did have tackles, though, and
there's a lot.
There were 61 total tackles, and the highest person had 5. So there were a lot of people playing the game today. There were a lot of people in there, and everybody contributed on that defense. It wasn't just one person out there. It wasn't just a Shaquem Griffin. It wasn't just a Jemias Pittman. It wasn't just a Shaquan Burkett. It was a bunch of people that did a bunch of things. Pittman with his 2 sacks was huge. Tony Gerard with a sack. Some people here, honestly, that I've never heard of. That are
they had this, that. They had the stat of the backup quarterback. He had 5 sacks, 5 knockdowns, and 7 hurries or whatever it was. I mean, that's huge. I mean, I know he's a backup quarterback, but that has nothing to do with the quarterback. That has everything to do with the line getting penetration and pushing back the Maryland offensive line. So they're pushing the defense of a group of 5 school, quote unquote, ridiculous, I can't stand that term, was owning the line of a Power 5 team. Owning the line.
Absolutely. I'm looking at the receiving stats here. We were kind of messing with Kubalele. We were kind of messing with him a little bit. He did have 2 receptions for 39 yards, averaged 19.5 yards per reception, by the way. Yeah. So we can't mess with him too much.
We were calling it the turf sniper.
Yeah.
On the American fans board, that the turf sniper was out there heavy. A lot of people. There was way too many injuries in this game in the first half. I mean, it was it was unbelievable how many injuries there were. I mean, it's terrible on both sides, not just our school and their school. You know, I mean, yeah, I mean, it was great. We took out their quarterback that allowed us to win the game, but you never want to see a player get hurt. You know, I mean, they're kids.
Absolutely not.
You don't want to see anyone get hurt. And I don't know what is up with that field. It was horrendous. I mean, people were getting caught up left and right. It's just it's terrible, and just way too many.
It's turf versus grass. So
yeah,
at all times. Thank you very much for your call, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right,
no, I appreciate it. Hey, you guys keep doing what you're doing, and I'll keep listening.
Thank you very much. We appreciate
all right, go Knight.
Charge on.
I know I joined you late, so I don't know if you talked about what I thought was one of the greatest plays was Maryland was 3rd and 1, and then they got dropped for a 6-yard loss and then missed that field goal. So there was an opportunity at some momentum there. Gabriel Landa, I think I'm saying his last name right, with that tackle was very quick. They got back in the backfield very quickly. So that was a key play.
I think maybe that was the person that had a sack.
There's your call again. Another call.
All right. Well, this phone.
It's good to see the blinking red light.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. All right, you're on Knightline. Where are you calling from? What's your name?
Hey, Andrew, it's Joseph from Orlando.
Hey, man, what's up?
All right, so I was at Disney today and watching through Twitter and various sports apps. Can you give me, 3 words, the tone of the game? And then I have an interesting observation about Disney today, atmosphere-wise, in regards to the night.
All right, the defensive line kicked everybody's butt. That's all I can say.
A couple more than 3 words, but they were good ones.
So go ahead and tell us about what your observation was today.
Okay. As a kid walking around Disney in UCF gear, no one would say anything because we were in such an obscure team. But so many people today were in UCF garb, and every time someone would see someone, they'd say, "Go Knights," and respond with the charge on. It was just so cool.
Awesome. You know, I saw that here as well. There were tons of Knights fans here today. In fact, I've been telling everybody all day that this is one of our, for us personally on Knightline, this is one of our largest markets as far as people that listen to our show. D.C., Baltimore, Maryland area is huge. There's a lot of Knights fans here, and they showed up today, absolutely. And it was cool because everybody was cool. All the Maryland fans were awesome. There was a whole tailgate thing going on. I mean, we're tailgating on their campus, and they were coming up to us and giving us beers and all kinds of stuff. It was a great environment, great game environment, everything.
That's great. Thanks for letting me know.
Absolutely.
All right. Good luck with the rest of the show. Sounds like you guys haven't had any tech glitches. That's awesome.
Thank you very much. I did a good job today. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Have a good night.
It means a lot, man. Thank you.
That's funny. I got 5 syllables.
So Roger again, Night Bingle joins us.
So I got 5 syllables. It's complete domination.
Absolutely, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think when we were watching this game from the stands, I think one of the things that everybody noticed was we weren't sure after the drubbing that they put on Texas, whether this offense was really going to be able to push us around. And it was funny, as anecdotally, after the fact, after the game was over, there was actually a P6. A P6 chant that was going on after the fact. So
maybe that's starting to catch on now.
Let's take this other phone call real quick. Hey, you're on Knightline. Where are you calling from? What's your name?
Hi, I'm calling from Oviedo, and this is Andrew.
Hey, I love your name. It's a great name. What's going on? What were your observations today? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I'm definitely excited for the win. Definitely always helps when you go to someone's house and beat a Big Ten opponent. But I'll have to say our defense definitely came to play. Anywhere from interceptions to knocking out their QB, which is definitely unfortunate. But our guys preserved and definitely played lights out.
Absolutely. I'm kind of blown away by the defense today. I think this was domination by the defense, absolute domination. And it surprised me. It really did. I thought maybe we would be a little rusty. I honestly did. I was wondering. I couldn't quite figure it out. But I don't think there's very much rust there. Maybe in the beginning, but
Maryland total yards 197.
Yeah. To our what?
To
our only
428.
Play of the game. when we had to take a timeout before the first snap. I think that was the only rust we had.
Can you ever remember that happening, by the way?
No. And I was like, Travis and I were standing there. I'm like, what? What just happened? I'm not sure what happened. So
I've been following the Knights since the 05 season. Never seen that happen. So.
Well, and I think, from the Maryland perspective, it became very one-dimensional. Once Kasim went out, I mean, we were able to key in, pin our ears back and really get after the quarterback. So from our seat, as we were watching the game, I mean, you could really see it turn. That front seven is phenomenal. It was our strength. It's been said from the very beginning that they've been our strength, and they've really – once Kasim went out, it really allowed us to get aggressive and, put hats on hats. I mean, they kept trying to run the ball because they didn't have much confidence in Goldschlager or whatever we were calling him during that time.
Yeah, I thought they were having a drink when they called it.
Bortenschlager.
What a game, though. Just in general, what a game. I mean, this has been one of the coolest experiences. I have to thank Roger here again, Night Bingle. And Eric and his family, they've totally. It's been awesome to picking me up at the airport and everything. It's been awesome. I'm so glad that we were able to do this. This is one of my best UCF experiences ever.
And it's our pleasure. I mean, you guys.
Andrew, thank you for your call, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You guys put a lot into this, and, for us, I know Eric and I, when we started germinating the idea, we really thought about it, and we said, Andrew never gets to leave. He's always, sitting behind
They don't let him out very often.
For a good reason.
It's really smart. Do you know how much beer I drank today?
A fair amount. But what I'll say about that is this. These guys, both of them, really pour their time, their hearts, their money into this, and for us to be able to invite them to my new adopted home and Eric's adopted home, to bring them up here and give them some time away from that and enjoy an atmosphere in an OOC game. For us, it was it was an absolute pleasure. Both Trace and Andrew hung out with us at our tailgate, and I for one, and I know Eric feels the same, we appreciate what you do, especially being far from home and far from Orlando. We aren't as connected as we'd like to be because we're not there every day. But you guys are, and because of that, we're able to stay connected, and we appreciate the little things in life. I know when I'm sitting in traffic for an hour to 2 hours a day.
You mean that happens up in these parts?
Yeah. I learned
you mean
that
9 miles
quickly.
takes an hour?
33 miles, 2 hours a day. But I listen to you guys religiously, and I know you guys don't have to do this. I know you spend your own time and your own capital, and for me and several others who donated to the cause, I appreciate it. I'm glad we could do it, and hopefully we'll be able to do that in the future. So I appreciate all of you and keeping us going in the right direction and keeping us informed. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
Tremendous
man.
compliment there.
Absolutely awesome, yeah.
407-401-9184 is the number.
I got a thing on Twitter here I want to talk about real quick. Our friend John Swift, and you those of you that have listened for a long time, John Swift used to do some stats for us. He's got a new job, and he's not as able to do that, but he mentioned here real quick, we dominated the line of scrimmage last year too, but couldn't stop shooting ourselves in the foot with 6 fumbles last year. He says Maryland was soft in the trenches. Credit UCF on the O-line, played great. Milton showing poise and maturity.
To that point, Coach Frost said UCF wanted it more today.
Absolutely.
They played harder today than
What was
the
Frost's
Maryland.
demeanor? Did he smile?
He was very low-key. He had said that he was happy and proud of the team, and then one of the media members said, well, for someone so happy, you're not really showing it. He said, I'm happy for them. They got a good win. And so I think he sees that the work they're putting in is paying off.
He's kind of a stoic guy. When we're used to a stoic guy, obviously around here with George O'Leary before him, but he doesn't show a lot of emotion, Scott Frost. Every once in a while, a little. Travis here was talking. You couldn't hear him because he was talking off of a microphone, but he said something about before he signs.
He hasn't signed a contract yet with Nebraska.
Yeah, he hasn't signed a contract yet with Nebraska, but
we're so focused on perhaps losing Frost to a Nebraska, but it's Eric Chenander that we should be concerned about losing as the defensive coordinator.
Absolutely, and what I said earlier, we were talking about this. If Scott Frost does go to Nebraska for some reason, they better dang well, I'm going to say it like that, pony up for Chenander or Chenader, however you want to say it, for him to be the head coach because he deserves it.
Yeah,
I understand why Nebraska is, it's a legacy job, and he's from there, but is that program really in a good place? I don't know that program is really in a good place.
And I'll use the verb or what Coach Verdue always says. He's just a cool cat, right? So he's a different kind of cat. He's not after, to me, when you listen to him and you talk about where he is in life, and you listen to him talk about why he came to UCF as opposed to the other P5 jobs that were available out there. And, it really says something about him and his character. And I don't think he came here just to leave. I think he came here to build something. I think he put something together for Danny White. I think he made a commitment to John Hitt. John Hitt knew that, he's riding into the sunset. He's going to be retiring. And I think they came together and they said, we're going to build this thing.
But you could make that same argument about Houston and their coach, and then, they come a-calling with millions more, and it's hard to match that.
We got to pay a little bit of bills here, so let's do this commercial real quick, and then we will get back to that.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline and Knightline Post Game Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
All right, so we heard from Travis earlier, and there he was telling us what was going on with his company and all that. UCF's favorite beach in his hometown. So call Travis and look at some houses. There's all kinds of beautiful places. Nothing got hurt by the hurricane out there. There's all kinds of good stuff.
One of the places in Florida.
All kinds of beautiful places in New Smyrna Beach, and if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't get to do a lot of this stuff. So we greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Still time, right? We still time for calls. 407-401-9184. UCF with the signature win in the American and this weekend so far. The other scores, Texas Tech, that would have been a nice one. They beat Houston 27-24. I'm rooting for everybody except the Cows. So you want to get a win like that. 27-24, though, Texas Tech wins. Arkansas State just ahead of SMU right now. Oh, that's what he was for. Oh, that's right. What I mentioned.
I got it here. Hold on.
Kevin Reese.
I do have it here. Hold on. Wait. Here, right here. There it is. I forgot I put that in there, actually.
I pointed. I said it. I was thinking about Kevin. I was like, you got to get the move.
There you go, right there. I actually do have it on there. I forgot that it was on there.
Tulane beats Army 21-17. This is not a good win, not a good loss for the American. New Mexico goes into Tulsa and wins 16-13, and that's surprising. Navy 42, Cincinnati 32. Without knowing anything about the game, they gave up a lot of points to Cincinnati. I like the possibility of putting up some points on Navy. That's a tough game, though. That's a tough game. Not to look too far ahead, but that's a tough game at Navy.
Well, and that's something we lost with the Georgia Tech game, right? So one of the things we were looking forward to was getting some of that practice in. One, it's not just playing the game, but it's also that week of practice against a triple option attack. So when you're thinking about Navy, that's one of the things that makes them so difficult and allows them to reload. I mean, I think last year they pulled their fourth-string quarterback from the stands at the half and actually ran that offense. So they've got that like clockwork.
Yeah, take that, Maryland. Why didn't you do that today?
That's crazy.
Why didn't you get a quarterback out of the stands?
One of the things is that I've been the most impressed with about today, our Twitter feed is going crazy. It's absolutely going crazy. And someone just asked, where can I get a Knightline t-shirt? And we're going to do it. We're going to do it at some point. We have to get over another little hump here to do T-shirts. So we will do it. I know that there's a couple around out there, so they might be, hard to get. But there are a couple, but we'll work on that, I promise. But thank you for everybody talking to us on Twitter today and on the message boards and everything and calling in. We still have a couple minutes here.
We need your questions to discuss on tomorrow's all-new Knightline, so hashtag Ask Knightline or tell us on Facebook. What questions do you have after this, after you digest this big win on the road at Maryland? Is there anything that still concerns you about the team as they go into just the third game of the season and the 5th week of the season against Memphis?
All right, we got one more thing to do here real quick. Let me play this one quick commercial.
You've heard us talk about the great food at our good friend Kyle Israel's restaurant, The Little Greek Fresh Grill. The Little Greek now has franchises available. Please call 407-697-2272. That's 407-697-2272 to see what The Little Greek can do for you. Also check out The Little Greek's newest location at 3131 Daniels Road, Suite 104, Winter Garden, Florida. The Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous.
And we will have Kyle Israel joining us, scheduled to join us for Knightline, and Nick Patty. We have a Memphis insider who put out a Twitter post today saying that he's going to be on with us. And we talked to Isaac Simpson a couple of weeks ago. We're going to have to do it all over again now.
We're doing that twice. You guys never really actually heard that. I don't think I ever – did I ever put it up?
You dropped it, when we still thought we were going to play that game.
Yeah,
so.
Okay, so I did. And then, so we'll get to hear that again. And things have changed a little bit, so – it's definitely things have changed. UCF is now 2-0. Finally.
And Memphis's defense, I mean, they lost a couple of folks early on in that first game that they played, and they were important parts of their defense. So I think if we can get the offense rolling, I think, that really bodes well for us. Because I feel like, I'm pretty comfortable with the defense and the fact that we can get pressure on that O-line that they have.
We thought this was going to be the high-scoring game this week. Maybe it's next week that's the high-scoring game.
Absolutely. All right, guys, thank you very much for everyone that has called in, that has showed up, that the whole thing, Roger and
Great
Eric.
to meet so many people here.
Yeah, absolutely. This was so awesome. I wish we could do this every week. Thank you very much, Eric. Thank you very much, Roger. Thank you very much, Travis. I can't remember your name. Karsten, Roger's little boy. And Eric, what's your Noah? That's right. And your wife? What's your wife's name? Kristen and Karsten. That's right. We were doing this earlier. Thank you, everybody, for supporting what we do and making this happen. I really, really appreciate it. We will see you next week. I'm Andrew Phegley.
I'm Trace Trylko. Go Knights.
Charge on.
See